With 15 races in the books, the Hardee's National Series drivers head to the 2-miler of Michigan International Speedway. Known for its open-wheel and stock car racing alike, drivers will tackle high-banked turns of Michigan, where speed and momentum is key. Mason Gordon has recently come up strong with a win at Pocono, and he's been in a hot streak as of late. He's looking to get at least 3 wins in one season for this year. For TJ Martin, however, he's trying to redeem himself after a disastrous debut at Pocono for this weekend. As for the points contenders, the battle for the lead is still heating up between Mason Gordon and Dylan Schwallenberg, separated by 12 points. Luis Hernandez, Garrett Sidner, and Nick Salmon are on top. However, one mistake can cost a lot of points on the ground for their fellow competitors. And on the pole for the round of Michigan will be Turner Fenway's James Richardson. Now for this year, it's a lot different than last year at Michigan. The cars are a lot lighter in the Hardee's National Series than they were this year. Since they're a lot heavier, they're going to have to rely on a long-run strategy, much rather than a short run, to try to get themselves out the front as fast as they can. Michigan is meant to be a track position race for most of the drivers. I would say the front runners, to say the least. And the high line is going to be viable very late in the run. With that said, on to the round of Michigan. James Richardson is going to lead the field with the green flag here for a 60-lap run, as PJ Williams is on the outside. Well, look at Charlie Smith looking down the inside of the 55, already heading into turns 1 and 2. The inside line on the short run is the most reliable if you can get a decent run of momentum down on the bottom. But now Richardson is trying to hold out in front of 3 of Smith, and there's a 5 of Nick Mace. Gonna try and force a 3 wide down off of turns number 3 and 4, but it looks like Charlie Smith on the inside is gonna lead the very first lap of this race. Charlie Smith this year has been rather anonymous, to say the least. If I do recall correctly, Smith did happen to have won the round of Kansas last year in a last lap maneuver, or Matthew DeLeo. And speaking of the points championship, there's Mason Gordon trying to go down low for the race lead. Oh, but it gets loose up in turn 3 and has to check up, heading off of 4. He's going to try and block Nick Mace on the high line. Kind of a wise decision there by the one of the older drivers. Of course, Mason Gordon is I believe is the only driver from Alaska to have been competing for this long, if I must say. And Luis Hernandez is starting to fall back. Oh, Nick Mace, contact! Mason Gordon is around. And this is what I meant by championship implications can come into play. It looks like the 18 had turned the 5 into the 10, and the 10 goes spinning. Luckily, though, Mason Gordon and Nick Mace are both going to have light damage on their race cars, so it does appear that they're going to continue on anyway. So no harm, no foul, really, just with the exception of the 18 just dumping the 5 into the 10. Colby Jackson's going to have a collision under the yellow, as here comes Wade Fromer to just completely pummel him heading down pit road, and that's going to give the 9 significant rear end damage. I don't think the officials are going to be too happy about that one. But the 17 of Richardson is going to continue to lead the race, as he'll take the green flag on into lap number 8. Charlie Smith did not get a very good start, as Bobby Jones is sitting in 3rd. Good to see him running this well. There's Dylan Schwallenberg out there as well, one of the biggest championship contender against Mason Gordon, who is way in the back at the moment. As for the 14, I would be more concerned about his consistency, because Schwallenberg does tend to be very aggressive and run up his tires pretty early, but he does seem to be finding his P's and Q's at the moment, running behind Bobby Jones. I'm not sure if he's going to make a move for 3rd. But here comes Charlie Smith for the race lead, and this is where Jones and Schwalmer are going to take advantage to select either one of the drivers to draft. It looks like Bobby Jones is going to go for the lead, as a matter of fact, but the caution is out once again. Looks like they're going to race back to the line, however. And it's Cody Lamas making contact with the outside wall there. But I think it's going to go to the 17. Look at Schwalmer going way up the track. Not a wise idea for the 14. And that's a lot of smoke heading off of turn number 4. Looks like there has been a big collision in the back. But as of right now, James Richardson will take the lead once more at the line. Scott McCann in the number 1 is not going to make too many friends on the track, as he's going to approach the 51 to Chase Morris and just completely dump him off of turn number 4. He's going to go around, get hit by both John Bunnell and Colby Jackson. Pretty hard hit from Bunnell, putting both cars out of the race, and Colby Jackson will have to retire. Richardson once again is going to lead the field back to the green flag. As green flag pit stops will be approaching pretty soon, within the next, I want to say 20 or so laps. I would go as far as about 15 at least, but we'll have to see how the field runs here. I see Garrett Sidner out there making up some position. He's down to, I believe, 6th place. No, yes, he is 6th at the moment. I'm correct on that. Charlie Smith. Schwalmer tried to make a move way too early there on Charlie Smith. Now he's going to lose the 3rd position to Nick Mace and probably 4th to Bobby Jones. Jones is a huge run off of turn 4. But he's going to make the same mistake Schwallenberg had made by going down the inside. And now Richardson is under pressure for both Nick Mace and Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith has been rather strong all weekend, as he's going to try to use that high line to his advantage to close in on the 17 of Richardson. And excellent momentum there by the 3 to edge out the 5. The line, there's PJ Williams back there, probably going to battle with Garrett Sidner in a few moments. And meanwhile, this big old battle for second is going to continue on between Dylan Schwallenberg, Charlie Smith, Nick Mace, and Bobby Jones, but they're going to fall back because that low line is not as viable as it used to have been in the early stages of this race. And what you're eventually going to have to learn to use a high line to overtake people. What Schwallenberg's trying to do to Bobby Jones, it looks like he didn't get such much of a good run off of 3 and 4, and Jones will take the 4th position on the inside. So a good run by Bobby Jones, as the 17 of James Richardson will continue to lead, as Nick Mace is trying to go down the inside of Charlie Smith. Not much there. Sidner's going to make contact with the outside wall off of 2. 17 would extend his lead by just a little bit. This is where he's kind of at a disadvantage here. He doesn't have anyone to draft with. He's in all clean air. And now Bobby Jones is going to try and make a move on Smith for second. Look at, he's peeking down the inside, as there's PJ Williams peeking down the inside of Garrett Sidner as well. But not exactly going to run all that well. Jones is going to lose a lot of momentum. He's going to block Nick Mason. The outside wise move done by him. As I said, Richardson will continue to lead this race. Last year's winner, Johnny Gardner, has struggled all weekend long with the new car. He's usually a lot faster in the lighter cars, but with this race being more of a long run, Gardner has pretty much struggled throughout the entirety of this weekend. He's running about 29th place, and well, I don't see him moving up the grid very much, in spite of all this big old pack battling each other for position. And here's Mason Gordon back there at 30th. This is going to be a huge blow to his points lead. He could potentially lose it to Schwallenberg coming to the end of this weekend. It's a rather tough break for Gardner, as he did end up winning last year's race, and, well, where he's running right now, I don't see him picking up many spots at this rate. Here is TJ Martin running about 5th position. He's got some rear end damage from a collision with Johnny Gardner under caution, but is running a fantastic race regardless. He just got around Garrett Cinder in the outside line off turns 1 and 2, and is looking to close in on the top 4. As Richardson is continuing to lead the race. With how everyone else has been battling each other up the front, and it looks like Martin could be a legitimate threat for the race lead. Heading into lap 26 now, the 15 Wade Brummer has struggled all weekend. He's about to go a lap down to the 17 Richardson. He's going to get caught up. Brummer just basically blocked the 17 on the high line. He's going to let him go up high because he knows that high line is a lot more viable to the leaders. Schwallenberg is falling further back into, I believe, 6th position. But I think that Brummer's going to minus P's and Q's. Nick Mace, not a wise decision for him to dive it down low, as he's going to get held up by the 15. Looks like Schwallenberg is going to try to regain the time he lost from Nick Mace and TJ Martin, who's running a spectacular race in 5th. He's going to try and overtake Mace for 4th, as a matter of fact. In the 12, Schwallenberg does not take too kindly to lap cars blocking him, but I think Schwallenberg might go up the outside to pass the 15 anyway. It was either that or Schwallenberg. Oh, Schwallenberg getting real close. He just running him over and gives him the one-finger salute. Not all that surprised there by Dylan Schwallenberg. I mean, granted, Schwallenberg has a lot of talent, but he needs a lot more patience in order to run rather well in the Hardee International Series. Schwallenberg is running in about 6th position on to his credibility. Charlie Smith is going to do battle with James Richardson for the race lead on the outside. It's exactly where Smith needed to be about all race long. And now Charlie Smith is going to get the better edge off the 17, and finally there will be a lead change in this race, as Smith will lead. Looks like we see some cars coming off pit road. This is where pit stop cycles begin. As right now I see Kyle Bachelia on the apron, and he's trying to do an undercut strategy on the rest of the grid, and I think it is about time that the leaders are going to come down pit road as well. Look at the 17 diving down the inside of the 3. Try to edge him out heading into pit road, but I think it's a little too late for that. As Smith is going to head down pit road, but Bobby Jones will stay out. Jones is going to try an overcut strategy now on the 3 of Charlie Smith. He's going to let Carly McDowell by, who is a couple laps down. But rather interesting strategy call there by Bobby Jones. I think he's going to have better tires very late in the run. That's all he's probably going to get. And there, as we are just about past the halfway point of this race. And Dylan Schwallenberg is going to join him as well on pit road. As we'll see where the leaders are going to hop out by the end of this race. There's Nick Salmon in 3rd, 4th is Jake West, and 5th is Caleb Hoffman. At the end of the pit cycle, Charlie Smith is going to come to about a 4-second lead over Nick Mace and James Richardson, who are currently battling for 2nd. So Smith will be the big winner of the first pit cycle of the race. Hoping that he can actually continue to lead the race. The one of Scott McCann is a lap down, as he's not made very many friends in the back today. But oh, the caution is out once again, and Charlie Smith's lead has been shrunk to nothing. Looks like there was a spin in turn 3 involving some of the midfielders. As I did see some smoke heading up the outside wall. Charlie Smith is not going to be too pleased with him losing the race lead like this, as he will lead the field to the yellow flag. As now we'll have to investigate what happened that initiated this caution. Here is Daniel Conway battling around with Corey Williams and Zach Flickinger for 16. Williams is going to get around Conway on the outside. Conway is now trying to block Zach Flickinger. Flickinger is not too pleased with Conway blocking him, and okay, he's going to dump him in the outside wall, and Flickinger is going to go out. He's smoking profusely in that 26. Conway is going to have some rear end damage from that impact on the 26. And the H&S officials are not going to be too pleased with that, as Flickinger just basically dumps the two into him. And while Instant Karma, the 26 will have to drop out of the race as a result. Smith will once again lead the field to the start-finish line. Nobody has pitted under caution, probably with the exception of Conway, who had some rear end damage from that incident with the 26 of Zach Flickinger, who fell out of the race. As SCS regular Nick Mace is going to run second. As one hoping to run Scott McCann. Probably looking inside. Look at Mace, almost jumping to 1. McCann, he's really hoping to get the second position off James Richardson, who's shoving the 1 up the high line. Very, very aggressive maneuver by the 6, or 17, excuse me. As it looks like there's going to be a 4-car battle for the lead. I don't think Charlie Smith has shifted into 4th gear yet, as he's going to lose the lead just like that to Nick Mace. I don't think it's a gearbox problem, it's more or less the fact that Charlie Smith doesn't have any drafting to go with, and now he's going to drop about 3 positions because he's not into 4th gear just yet. And there's PJ Williams in the 55. Looking to battle for the race lead, Bobby Jones, I think, is going to have the inside line and actually take the race lead from Nick Mace. He's going to try to block him on the high line off of turns 3 and 4. But Jones isn't done yet. Look at Charlie Smith, look at the inside. Retake the race lead, but he's going to lose all that momentum down the inside. As this car did feel a little bit loose there heading off of turn number 2. Jake West and Nick Salmon are looking to close in on the leaders as well. As Richardson is going to block Schwallenberg on the inside, heading off turns 3 and 4. But how about that for Bobby Jones, as he will lead this race. There's a 3-wide situation between Dylan Schwallenberg, PJ Williams, and Jake West. Looks like Schwallenberg trying to take advantage of the draft from James Richardson and maintain the 5th position. He's going to go down the inside of Richardson. Looks like there's a 4-wide situation heading in the 1 and 2. And Smith is going to lose even more positions. He's probably going to head up the track and block the 1. Yes, he will. As Smith just lost all that momentum and all of track position, and he's going to need later on. Nick Mace is going to try to close in on Bobby Jones. Oh, Dylan Schwallenberg dumps a 5, and the 5 goes around in the grass, or in the infield. And, oh, he's not going to come back up the track, thankfully. The caution is out once again. Nick Mace must be very displeased about Dylan Schwallenberg. Oh, what is he doing? Oh, almost gave him into Lydia Rogers. And thankfully, I think that was Richard Harrison in the 74. Oh god, that gave me a miniature heart attack there. I thought Mace was intentionally going to come up the track. So look at this again. Schwallenberg looks like he came up to draft with Nick Mace, but then he just completely turned a 5 around. As 5 is going to go for a spin in the infield. Thankfully, he slows down just enough not to go back up the track. But this was a rather unwise move there by Mace when the rest of the field had to come back up. He's going to go back up the track, almost having Lydia Rogers run him over. Thankfully, she knew what she was doing. And I think Mace is going to get called to the hauler for that, because that was a little unnecessary, almost causing a huge accident after caution was out. But it was more or less a racing deal between him and the 14, so I would understand Mace's displeasure at the moment. The leaders have pitted under caution as we're going to come down to 13 laps to go. Jake West is going to lead the race in the 21, hoping to redeem himself from last weekend. Green flag is out once again for the 21. Nick Mace is back in 5th now after caution was initiated between him and Schwallenberg. But now fresh tires, meaning that the inside line will be the most reliable on the short end of the run. Bobby Jones is going to try to go for the race lead as of right now on the 21. Jones has had he hasn't had much luck as of late. And now down the inside goes Bobby Jones to take the race, to reclaim the race lead from the 17, or from the 21, excuse me. Now the 17 is going to try to work with Jones. And no, as a matter of fact, he's going to dive down the inside of the 6. The 6 does have a better run off of turn number 2. The 17 is going to lose his momentum. His car did get a little bit loose there off of 2. He's going to block Nick Mace, but here comes the 21 of Jake West once again. Down the inside of Bobby Jones. And that's going to be right around decisive at the moment. Dylan Schwallenberg trying to work with the 21 to regain that top spot. Schwallenberg needs as many points as he can to take the race lead, or the points lead from Mason Gordon. It looks like he's going to do it heading to the end of this weekend. And now that outside line is starting to become a little bit more preferred as Schwallenberg gets a little bit loose off of turn number 2. He's going to lose all that momentum once again. He's trying to block Richardson, but didn't want to get himself turned around just like he did with Nick Mace. And Richardson's going to get shoved to the island by P.J. Williams in the 55, but now Bobby Jones is trying to edge out the 21 at the line. Heading to about 10 laps to go. As, oh boy, Jones looks like he's got the upper hand as he'll retake the race lead once again. Dylan Schwallenberg trying to work with the 21 to at least have a run on the 6. And Schwallenberg might try to highline it past the 21. But he can have a shot of getting by the 6 and perhaps winning this race. Now, but West tried to block the 14 in the high line. Schwallenberg didn't exactly appreciate that one. And he's going to lose all that momentum heading off of 4. And into 1 and 2 once again. Looks like Richardson tried to take 3rd from Schwallenberg. Schwallenberg has a huge run on the 21. He's just going to go right up his back bumper at that point, as Mace is trying to regain those positions he's lost by from that spin earlier. He was running about 2nd place at that point, but here is Schwallenberg once again going to try to take 2nd from West. West was going to try to take the lead from Bobby Jones, just like Jones had done earlier to West. But West, I don't think is going to try to block the 14. He's already there. And yes, I think he's probably going to surrender the 2nd position to Dylan Schwallenberg. He's got a huge run off of 2. But West is going to try and block the 55 of P.J. Williams. Smart move by the young rookie, as Williams is going to slide up the track, hopefully to get a huge run off of West. And oh boy, that was rather close. West was trying to block the 55 again. Schwallenberg now starting to get caught up by the 21, but it's kind of decisive at this point. The 14 will have 2nd, as now the tires are starting to wear and tear. The outside line has become more viable, but there is Wade Brummer once again about to go a lap down to the leaders. Jones now has to be very concerned about the lot of traffic ruining his run. He does have the shorthand advantage of the draft. And look at that, Bobby Jones down the inside. Oh, Wade Brummer and PJ Williams is going to get held up by the 15. But Brummer, he's going to lose a bunch of positions, I believe. And Schwalmer tries to make a move, but gets loose once again. Heading off of turn number 2, this is where the inside line can work, but if your car gets loose, you're basically SOL. And Jones is going to continue to lead the race. And basically, he's in control at this vantage point. PJ Williams is actually caught back up to Dylan Schwalmer once again. I'm not saying that anyone can win a race. Oh, Charlie Smith getting held up by the 15. I don't think Smith is going to be all that happy about it since he was leading the race for a good bit. But Schwalmer now has a huge run on Jones once again, as the 14 really wants to win this race. And at Michigan. Oh boy, there's a battle for 4th, I believe, between the 17 and the 14. Oh, the caution is out once again, and I think this is coming to 4 laps to go. Oh boy, this is gonna turn to a green white checker here. Dylan Schwalmer has got to be thrilled about this one, as he could have the win on the outside line heading towards the end of this race. But yeah, there was a wreck in the back. We're gonna have to see what happened at initiated the caution. It's gonna end the normal race, as we're gonna have to go overtime. Here's Cody Lamas running about 17th place. He's gonna get under pressure by the 41. No, the 41's gonna turn him on the inside, and Lamas is gonna lose control of the 34. Cody Lamas has just had horrible luck. And just yes, any HNS has it late, and he's gonna fall way back, and we'll lose all those track position for the green-white checker. And tough break for Lamas, even though he's going to be competing anyway in the green-white checker. However, due to the rule set in May of this year, the fact that the SDS and HNS will not do green-white checkers for the remainder of this year, Bobby Jones will be declared the winner of the race. Dylan Schwalmer is going to come home in 2nd. Place 3rd will be PJ Williams. 4th, James Richardson. 5th, Jake West. 6th, Nick Mace. 7th, Nick Salmon. 8th, Caleb Hoffman. 9th, Garrett Cinder. And 10th will be Charlie Smith.